HarperCollins and HarperAudio present V for Victory, a novel by Lissa Evans, performed by Lucy Briers.
Autumn 1944. Where T. Allardyce, textbooks and stationery should have been, there was nothing but a flight of stairs, silhouetted against a white sky. The air was full of grit, the rubble seeded with ruined books, their pages snapping back and forth in the cold wind. Noel flipped open a cover with his foot and saw an illustration of the human digestive system, its cross-sectioned owner breezily eating an apple, apparently unconcerned that his innards were exposed to the world. The whole street had gone. A roped-off crater showing where the V2 had actually landed. The shops and houses marked only by the odd truncated wall or empty doorframe. The staircases alone had survived, some still with remnants of carpet, some spoked with broken banisters. Noel was tempted to climb the nearest and see the destruction from a height, but half the treads were missing. The V2 rockets had been dropping out of the sky for a couple of months now, though dropping implied that you could see them descend, whereas they fell at such speed that no warnings were possible. A crack and a boom, and then death. Like God clapping his hands, Vee had suggested, fancifully. Each one knocked the roofs off 1/4 square mile of houses, and flattened those at the centre. More like God stamping his foot, Noel had said. They'd been lucky so far this year, at home in Hampstead. Nothing but the occasional Heinkel unloading HEs, and a single doodlebug which had landed in a pond on the heath and hurled a flood of green water over the bank and down the road, marbling the tarmac with waterweed and sending a dead duck surfing through the chemist's door. Noel let the book cover fall. Last time he'd visited the shop, Mr. Allardyce had given him a cup of tea and talked eloquently about his years as a teacher in Tonga. The young ladies there, how can I describe them? They have flesh as firm as a Michelangelo marble, but when they dance, every part of them vibrates. Noel had thought about this image quite a few times over the succeeding months, and had rather been looking forward to continuing the conversation. There was a sudden movement in the rubble, and a rat emerged from behind an angled pipe, a packet of semolina in its teeth. It caught sight of Noel and froze, and he hopped off the mound of bricks, best not to think of its grave-like contour, and walked away. Perhaps he thought Mr. Allardyce had been asleep when the bomb fell, asleep and dreaming of Tonga. At the end of the road, a church had escaped the worst of the blast, though half the roof had fallen in, and the windows were empty. In the road beside it, glass crunched underfoot, a million splinters of indeterminate colour, and occasional larger pieces, red and blue, a glimpse of a gesturing arm, a broken halo, and there, upright in the gutter, an unbroken rectangle of amber glass the size of Noel's palm, still edged with lead. He held it up to one eye and looked along the road, and the V2 devastation was transformed into something much older, a sepia photograph from one of Matty's books, Pompeii emerging from the ash. And between the excavated walls, a short, rounded figure purposefully approaching. Noel slipped the glass into his pocket. It was a lady ARP warden, 2 white stripes on the sleeve of her tunic, her boots filthy with beige dust, the legs of her slacks rolled several times above the ankle. "Were you looking for something?" she asked, her tone brisk. "I was," said Noel. "I had a list of books to buy at Mr. Allardyce's shop, geography and history, mainly." "Oh dear. Well, you're out of luck, I'm afraid. You'd better cut along. Half these walls are unsafe." "What happened to Mr. Allardyce? Is he still alive?" "Yes," she said, unexpectedly. "He was in his basement, reading a book." "Which book?" Her official expression eased, and she almost smiled. "I can't tell you, but it had a red cover. He was still clutching it."
Sample complete. Ready to continue?